In this video, we're looking at problem 10.5, the internal rate of return on our deal in problem 10.4, where we paid $20 million for a winning lottery ticket, and our prize was $2 million a year. Our cash flows were $2 million a year for 20 years. And we figured out that the discount rate, or the cost of capital for that deal, was actually 8%. I mean, I'll go back to what we were doing before. The actual cost of capital was 8% because why? Because it said it was, right? So that gives us a net present value of over $1 million, which means this is a good deal because we gained in value. Now, going back to problem 5, we want to know, okay, in this deal, what's the internal rate of return? Now, if you know if you understand the concepts, we know that if we got a positive net present value, we know the internal rate of return is going to have to be higher than the discount rate, or another way of thinking of that is the cost of capital, which was 8%. So let's find out. It's going to be something. It's got to be something over 8%. So let's just do this quick. So it's going to be the same cash flows. So I'm just going to copy this and stick it on in the other one, right? So let's go copy and put it right back here. And that's going to give us our cash flows. It's going to give us our internal rate of return, which just happens to be 8.78%, which is above our discount rate. Now, how did I do this? Well, what I did was I put in the formula down here. Well, right here is really easy. If you look right up here at the top of this address bar, in order to get the internal rate of return in an Excel spreadsheet, you just simply go equals IRR and then put in parentheses your negative cash flows and then all your positive cash flows. So this is C10 through C35, which I put right up here, and that's going to give us our internal rate of return. It's doing this formula right here in Excel. This would take you forever to do by hand. Okay, and the actual answer you'll see is very it's a very long answer, and this has to be long like this. This has to be the exact number in order to get a net present value of 0, because down here what I've done is I put in the net present value of formula using our internal rate of return that we found up here, and when we use that internal rate of return and the net present value, we see, voila, we have a 0 net present value. Let me put that back so it doesn't look so crazy. So that should tell you that the significance of the internal rate of return is that's the rate of return that would enable us to break even. So in other words, if this was the cost of a capital, if it was 8.7803464325226000. Okay, so if this was our actual cost of a capital, then we would exactly break even. We would not lose or we would not gain on this deal. So that's what the internal rate of return actually is. And we can also see that it makes sense. Let me put it back. It makes sense that the internal rate of return on this deal is higher than the discount rate over here. In the question 4, I mean, it's higher than the 8%, because it has to be higher, because we ended up with a net present value of something greater than 0. So that's how the wow, man, I've got this in my way here. I can't get to it. Here we go. So, you know, just type your answer in here, which you just saw, and that's fine. But I really do want you guys to understand the relationship between the net present value and the internal rate of return. And if you get that, then the other problems will be easier to understand as well. Okay. Problem 10.5.